What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap. And oh my goodness, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight on this one. I think there's about 7 or 8 different storylines I could tap into for this game. It's going to be a fun post-game recap to do. The most important thing tonight, the Mariners win another game. They win their 5th in a row, a 10-3 victory over the Houston Astros. They win their 5th game in a row. They've now won 13 out of 16. And it even goes beyond that. I think they've won 14 out of 17 as well. They are absolutely 14 out of 18, excuse me. They are absolutely on a roll. This one was fun. The first subject I'm going to get into, though, before we start anything, is a huge thank you to all of you. I have reached 2,000 subs plus 9. So thank you guys for that. All the nice comments. I've had people message me on Twitter, or excuse me, X, and tell me that they look forward to my post-game recaps. It's the first thing they go to after the game. That just blows me away. I can tell you guys I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that likes to have a beer and watch baseball. I try to be a voice of reason. You can't get too high on the highs, although I'm pretty high on this high right now for this game. And you can't get too low on the lows. Things happen. Baseball is the definition of a marathon, not a sprint. That's always my goal here. So if you guys can hit that like button, hit the sub button if you're new. Got a new goal, 2,500 subs. So that's my next goal to reach. You guys can help me out with that. Please hit the subscribe button. Let's get into it. A 10-3 Mariners win. We're going to talk all of it. We're going to talk about how ridiculously good Julio Rodriguez is. We're going to talk about the multiple home runs that the Mariners hit. We'll talk about the pitching. We're going to talk about the Valdez versus Jose Caballero incident. Let's get into all of it. Let's start with the pitching. I didn't think Logan Gilbert had his best stuff tonight. I did not. Logan goes 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. It is a testament to how good Logan Gilbert is that I thought he was pretty meh tonight. He got a win, got a quality start, 6 innings of 2-run ball. Like I said, is a testament to how good he is that I thought that was a pretty meh start. Thought the fastball was getting hit pretty hard. Didn't have that same feel for the splitter that he's had in the past. Thought got bailed out by some good defense. Cade Marlowe played really well out there. Altuve had a couple base running blunders in there as well that helped him. I don't think Logan was bad necessarily. I just don't think that was Logan at his best. And if that's not you at your best, it goes to show how good this team can be and what the ceiling for this team is. Because, like I said, I didn't think Logan was great. Couple home runs. I will say the Bregman home run, expected batting average of .40 on that home run. That's all I'm going to say. That was not necessarily crushed. The Yainer Diaz one was definitely hit pretty hard. Like I said, Logan wasn't terrible. Just didn't think he had his best stuff. Still got through a lineup that's, like I said, getting healthy with Altuve and Alvarez back in there. And he did a nice job. Trent Thornton did a nice job. Shutout 7th inning. I think Trent Thornton's been pretty good. He's not a relief ace. He's not necessarily my first pick in the tight situations in the 8th or 9th inning to come in and pitch. But he's someone that came over after Paul Sewald, or actually I think he was acquired before the Paul Sewald trade. And it's someone that's helping to offset that loss a little bit. He's been pretty decent. The slider looks decent. Got okay fastball velocity. He's given up some long balls. Again, I'm not saying he's necessarily my first guy to the bullpen, but he's also not a guy that if you have to go to him in 10, 11 innings, deeper in the game, that I'm sitting there going, oh no, Trent Thornton. You know what I mean? I think he's looked pretty decent so far. Gabe Spire with a solid 8th inning with 2 strikeouts. Edward Bizardo made his Mariners debut. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run on the home run by Dubon. No walks, 2 Ks. The home run was hit pretty far. He also hung a slider to Julks, I believe, that put one into the gap. So I can't sit here and say he pitched amazing, but I thought the stuff looked pretty good. When his slider was biting, and he threw about 3 or 4 of them that had some really sharp bite, it looked like a tremendous pitch. You can see why the front office is very excited about him. You can see why they acquired him at the deadline. Sometimes it's not always a big name. Sometimes it's, we want this team to go out and get someone proven, but sometimes additions like Thornton and Bizardo can help offset the loss of Paul Sewald a little bit. Now, again, Bizardo's, gave up a run and 2 pretty hard hit balls. I'm not, again, putting him into we got another ace here. But you can see where he has swing and miss stuff. He's got good fastball velocity. The slider looks solid. It's a strikeout pitch. And if you have a strikeout pitcher, you can get out of tough spots. Like, you can come into first and second or second and third, 1 out, and possibly get a couple Ks. So that has value. So I'm excited to see Bizzardo. I think he's got a chance to be pretty good and help this bullpen out. We'll see what ends up happening there, but I'm excited for what he can do. Let's get into the offense here. Another great thing, too, today is he saved a lot of the bullpen. Justin Topa didn't have to pitch. Matt Brash has gotten 2 straight days off. Andres Munoz got a day off after pitching yesterday, not throwing a ton of pitches, but gets a day off and had 2 days off before. So that's really good, too, for this team. They should have a full arsenal tomorrow. Maybe you don't have – I think actually, because Spire only threw 11 pitches. You should have everybody good to go for tomorrow's Game 3. Let's get to the offense here. Let's start at the top with, right now, the sky's the limit for this kid guy. Kid always sounds condescending. Julio was a kid. He's 22. Julio Rodriguez. I could have made the title of this video Julio again. I could just make this every game, just Julio. 4 for 6, 17 hits in his last 4 games. A major league record set by Julio Rodriguez. He has been absolutely on fire. I think they were all singles today for Julio. He also mixed in a stolen base. Should have had a second one, but Ty France was called for interference. Julio just doesn't make outs right now. Everything is getting hit hard. He's just going up there. That first at bat against Valdez, he showed a bunt. Was like, I think I'll just get a hit and get on base instead. Checking in earlier today, Julio's tied for 5th in the American League in F-WAR, Fangraphs WAR, versus Baseball Reference WAR, B-WAR. He could be up to 2nd or 3rd after this game. It's going to go up again. He might be at 5 wins above replacement level right now on the season. Like, just from these few games alone, he's already, I think, jumped over 5. Just incredible. Just absolutely incredible by Julio Rodriguez. I've never seen anything like this. It is just the confidence you have when he's up right now is just through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. Gino was 1 for 5, got an RBI single. Listen, Gino's not getting a ton of hits, but at least the hits he's getting are driving in runs. That was the first run of the game. Ty France was 2 for 4. Good to see Ty getting a couple hits. He hit into some tough outs the last few games. He had a line drive yesterday that I think it was Dubon made a nice catch on. He just missed a grand slam on Thursday. So good to see Ty get a couple hits. Julio's stealing the show, but Teoscar Hernandez is pretty hot right now. 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, 2 doubles. OPS on the year. OPS is not the perfect statistic, but it's right here in front of me, so I'm using it. OPS up to 732 on the season. There was some debate. Trade Teoscar at the deadline. I think they did look to move Teoscar, but I think with what they were going to be offered back, I talked about this in my trade deadline recap. What were you going to do? Take some C-level prospect or just hope that, you know what, we're in the race here. Maybe Teo gets hot the last couple months and can carry us and just help this team go over the top. They took that, I don't know if I call it a risk, but they took the odds that Teo would get on another hot streak here. Teo's a streaky hitter. We knew he was going to be. Now, certainly, I think still overall we've been a little disappointed. The power hasn't quite been what we thought it would be, or the slugging, I should say. But man, if Teo can get hot, and he is, Teo and Ty, I've talked about how much they need those 2 guys getting hot. And for the most part, they actually have been. They've been swinging the bat much better. They don't have to be superstars. They just got to do what they're doing. Drive in the runs, get on base a little bit, and help this team win some ball games. And they're doing that. Cal was 1 for 5 with a single and an RBI. Dylan Moore, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, a walk, 2 home runs. Dylan Moore up to an 880 OPS on the year. Another thing we talked about, I think this team really missed Dylan Moore in the beginning of the year. I think having his versatility really opens up this lineup, allows Teo to DH today. It allows them to have a righty in there against a lefty at second base. Dylan Moore now 7 home runs on the year. Great to see. Great to see Dylan Moore swinging the bat well. The troll, Jose Caballero. I'll get into it. I will. He was 1 for 3 with a walk. Cade Marlowe, 1 for 5 with an RBI in the triple. Hey, Cade Marlowe getting hits off a tough lefty in Framber Valdez. We'll take that all day. And made some nice plays in the outfield. Couple catches that looked like traps that were not. He got his glove in there and made the catch. Couple outfield assists. Nice game for him. How about Swaggerty with 2 for 5 day, including a home run and an RBI. He had another line drive that was just sculled off the bat that was caught. It was right to the right fielder, McCormick. but he could have easily had 3 hits today. So 17 hits for the Mariners, 2 walks, and 10 runs. Just a tremendous performance from this offense, and the pitching did enough to hold it down. Let's talk about the I don't want to get into it too much because the most important thing here is the Mariners won the game. The most important thing here is the Mariners won the series. That's the most important thing. But let's talk a little bit about Framber Valdez versus Caballero. So in the 5th inning, Dylan Moore hits a 2-run home run. Jose Caballero steps up. First pitch from Framber Valdez hits him in the back of the leg, shin, feet. Listen, I don't know if it was intentional or not. I'm not in Framber Valdez's head. I can't say if it was or wasn't. I personally do think it was intentional. Right after the 2-run home run, first pitch, Valdez a pretty good control pitcher, and it clearly looked like it was after Caballero. Listen, I try to be as diplomatic as possible. Caballero is probably incredibly annoying to other teams. If I was a fan of another team, he'd probably be one of my least favorite Mariners. I'd probably be sitting there going, God, that Caballero guy's so annoying. The way he kind of manipulates the pitch clock. He's a pest on the base pass. He's a bit of a troll. He is. I think we all can admit that. But regardless of what happened, like, you can't be mad at Cabby for being upset about that. You can't. I'm sorry. Like, Valdez cannot be mad at Caballero for thinking so. Even if it wasn't intentional, you can't be mad at him from chirping a little bit. 2-run home run, tough game for Valdez. That 2-run home run was the 5th and 6th run he had given up on the day. And the next pitch hits a guy. So, of course, he's going to be a little upset about that. No doubt about it. Listen, Valdez didn't hit him in the head. He wasn't headhunting. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just bash it. The most important thing is, like I said, the Mariners won, and cooler heads prevailed. Everybody calm down. No suspensions, because that's the thing. The Mariners cannot afford to lose. They're already out without JP. Hopefully we see him back maybe on Monday in Chicago. But they can't afford to get like Julio suspended or truthfully anybody right now. They can't afford to lose anybody. You're in a pennant race here. The division's in sight possibly. Cooler heads need to prevail, and they did. So kudos to the umpiring crew. Kudos to every other player on that for getting it done. I'm really not sure what Dusty Baker's frustration was on it. Like I said, I get Caballero's probably a pest. I know he's a pest. I'm sure he's annoying. There was the hit by pitch yesterday where, he kind of leaned in a little bit. And I know Maldonado took exception to that. I will say this, that pitch was like 3 feet inside. So yeah, Cabby didn't make much of an effort to get out of the way, but I mean, not like he jumped in front of the plate and let it hit him. You know what I mean? So there's that. I didn't understand Maldonado getting frustrated with Julio. And listen, like I said, I'm very, this could be the last thing to say about this, and I'm moving on to talk about the great win. Maldonado seemed very frustrated with Julio. Julio was calming Framber Valdez down. I guess they're friends or something. I don't know everybody's personal life here, nor do I really care all that much. But I guess Julio and Framber Valdez are friends. Julio did the right thing. He went out there and he calmed his buddy down. Julio stayed calm. He got Framber Valdez calmed down. If anything, Maldonado should be very grateful to Julio because he prevented Valdez from possibly getting in a scuffle and getting hurt, the Astros' best pitcher, and a possible suspension if something could have happened from a brawl. Who knows? So I don't know what Maldonado's beef was with Julio on that. I get Julio kind of took him way out to center field a little bit, but from my understanding, they're good friends, and Julio was calming his buddy down. So listen, there was a game, and I would have said the same thing if it was reverse. There was a game in 2008 when Richie Sexton charged him out. You guys remember that one? I don't know why he charged him out, but anyways, I do, but whatever. He charges him out, big brawl ensues, and Eddie Guardado, former Mariner, probably a mentor to someone like a Felix Hernandez, was calming Felix down. Felix was trying to go after, I think it was Sidney Ponson, if I remember correctly. And Everyday Eddie was over there pushing Felix back, grabbing him, bringing him back. Remember Dave Sims saying, Eddie Guardado's doing the right thing. That was a veteran move. Eddie was a veteran, and he knew Felix is a young guy. He's going to get emotional there. He went over and he calmed him down. Whether it's your teammate or not, that's doing the right thing. Now, Julio is younger than Valdez. I'm assuming. Yeah, he's got to be. So not necessarily a veteran there, but you can't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad if that was, Luis Castillo pitching and let's say Yordan Alvarez came out and kind of dragged him out there. I was like, hey, man, you need to calm down. I would be like, thank you, Yordan, for not making Luis Castillo risk a suspension or an injury. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. That's my take on all that. You guys can let me know your thoughts on it. The most important thing, though, is right here. And this is, I'm pointing to the score if you can't see. Well, you can't see it. 10-3. The Mariners get the W. That is the most important thing that came out of this baseball game tonight. They've won 5 road. They win the series. This was going to be a tough series. You had no Luis Castillo, no George Kirby in this series. You know, you relied on Bryce Miller, who's been solid, but I think we've seen some up and downs from Bryce Miller. You had Logan going against Valdez, who's been one of the best pitchers in the American League this year. How about getting 10 hits off Valdez in 5 innings, by the way? So it was going to be tough. And then tomorrow, Emerson Hancock has been okay through 2 starts. You know, I think we don't know. The book's still out there. You know, this series could have been a lot tougher. This could have been easily a series they dropped without having their 2 best pitchers go. And they've won the series. I never want to say a game is gravy because you could lose tomorrow, Toronto could win, and you'd actually be out of a playoff spot. But listen, regardless of what happens tomorrow, if the worst thing that comes out of this series is the Mariners win 2 out of 3, I'm okay. I am okay. I'll be frustrated. I don't want to lose, but big picture, they came to Houston, did what they need to do. Now you've got a chance to really put your foot on the pedal. You've got a chance to essentially draw even with Houston tomorrow. That's huge if you can go do that. But you get to kind of play with the house money a little bit tomorrow to an extent. You're still behind these teams, so I can't say fully you're playing with house money, but you'd be okay coming out with 2 out of 3 here. So just a tremendous win. The bats come alive, 5 in a row. The pitching was solid. Logan gets it done without his best stuff. Like the definition today of a gutsy performance by Logan. Truly was. Like I said, not the best stuff. Went out there, battled, got through it, and the offense went out and backed up their starting pitcher. Julio's playing like an MVP. I mean, if it weren't for, Ohtani's going to win MVP. If it weren't for that guy, like Julio might be back in the discussion for MVP. His OPS is now up to 800 on the year. He's got to be at 5 WAR by now. I mean, just incredible. Teo's heating up. Ty France is heating up. Let's see if we can get Gino going. That would be the next guy. And then getting JP back. And they're doing this without JP Crawford, who up until Julio's taken the crown, probably been the team's most consistent hitter and best hitter all season. So just feels really good right now. This team is fun to watch. That's also the major thing. I'm enjoying turning on the games. There were some times in April, May where I always enjoy doing this and doing the post games, but I was kind of like, yeah, I'll turn it on. Now I'm like, Mariners baseball. Let's get this game going. Can't wait. Can't wait for tomorrow. Let's see if they can finish this sweep. Let's do it. They've won the season series against Houston. This was a stadium that was a house of horrors for years for the Mariners in Minute Maid. And they've gone in there this year, and they are 5-1. So, I mean, worst case scenario, they're going to leave going 5-2 in Houston this year. And the one game they lost, they left the bases loaded, nobody out, and gave up a home run to Maldonado. I mean, they were close to sweeping that series. So let's see. Maybe Emerson Hancock can go out and get that first W. I will not be live for the game, but I'll have my post game up tomorrow after the game, as always. I will probably have a Seahawks video up tomorrow as well. I'm probably going to watch the Seahawks game tomorrow. And then I'll have my post game up for the Seattle Seahawks tomorrow as well. But the Mariners are just too fun to not talk about, right? Well, I'm talking Mariners, but man, this team is fun right now. I hope you guys are having fun because I enjoy it. I'm telling you, as someone that has sat through some rough seasons, I mean, some just painful baseball. Guys, I watched probably every game in 2004, every game in 2008, every game in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17 was actually not too bad, but 19. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the team being successful. Enjoy this team being good. And let's see if they can keep it going. I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. I hope you guys have a great night. Enjoy this win. Remember to subscribe. Got a new goal, 2,500. Remember to like the video. That just helps get it out to more people. And comment as well. Trying to get to all the comments. There's so many coming in now. Sometimes, I'm asleep or something by the time some come in. So I might not get to all of them, but I try and respond and at least give a thumbs up to, every comment that I think is, deserving of a thumbs up or a heart. So have a great night, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.